Cronulla crossed twice to come within 10 points before...
First points went to the Sharks. Green's pass finding the fullback.
Chance, they'll put it over the line.
Self-preservation didn't get a run. Cronulla ahead 6-4 at the break.
Roger.
2 more tries to the Sharks, and at 20-4 the game looked over.
Good is that?
Rogers scored from a planned move to cut the deficit just before half-time.
And Rogers crosses.
Games produced a fiery first half.
Richardson takes on Rodwell. Rodwell makes the tackle.
But it's been the Sharks' bustling attack that's seen the first points registered.
Set play for Eddinghausen and Matt Rogers. It's no long.
The 6-point margin stirred the Rabbitohs into determined action. Harry Hermanson leading from the front.
Hermanson, one of the best of the year so far.
With a penalty to make the margin 4, the Rabbitohs have suffered a setback with the loss of David Hall.
Yeah, he's in a lot of pain down here. It doesn't look good.
Cronulla maintained the attack, but great defence contained them. Souths on the attack have been awesome, but simple mistakes plagued their game.
Mistake that will cost South's victory.
The Rabbitohs returned to the paddock after the break in a more determined mood than Cronulla, with Julian O'Neill outstanding. But it's all been for naught. Cronulla hanging on in a scoreless second half.
We knew they'd come out firing this week after a indifferent performance against Western Suburbs, but West can do that to you, and we knew that South had gone to Auckland and beaten them, and we knew we were in for a hard game, and that's what they gave us.
Newcastle were also undefeated coming into round 5. They hosted Cronulla, who struggled with injury but were fit enough to open the scoring.
The 5/8 is in for Cronulla.
That hurt the Knights, but not as much as this did.
Last night, Cronulla took it to Newcastle for the first 20 minutes, with Dykes finishing off a spectacular backline raid.
The 5/8 is in for Cronulla.
They just couldn't hold off a determined Cronulla in the second term, which capitalised on the Rams' mistakes for a hard-fought 22-12 victory.
It also got a good start against Cronulla, but failed to fight off a Sharks comeback. David Peachy's intercept capping Cronulla's 10-point win, keeping the Rams on the bottom of the
Warriors' defence ordinary, at times embarrassing in the Sharks' 12-point win. Clinton Fletcher, National 9 News. On a miserable night, mistakes were inevitable, and Cronulla wanted revenge.
And he's tackled in goal, he's lost the ball. That's a try.
In his comeback game from a 5-week suspension, Ryan was also placed on report. The ref didn't like his protest either.
Hey, we're not going to put up with that either. Off you go.
Rare win against the Feed secured Cronulla's 10-point victory, with Brisbane no longer the competition leaders.
Richardson Bazisti!
Cronulla hosted ARL Premiers Newcastle and used the glut of possession to take a 12-0 lead.
A terrific try to the... Healy to kick.
The value of the kick was booted home when Cronulla took on Sydney City last night.
Chance here for Cronulla, I do believe.
The Sharks countered with a familiar ploy. Another Healy bomb, and Barnett couldn't come to grips with it.
I can't believe it. No.
Trista launched an early raid on the Rabbitohs line, and it was Peachy who came up rosy.
And now they're under all sorts of pressure.
At times, Souths had no defence, and as the mistakes continued, the frustration came out swinging.
Now there's a fight in back play, back on the 20.
Rabbitohs tried to put some starch in their line, and from that, Lang learnt the benefits of a sidestep.
Martin Lang, will they get him? No, they won't.
Cronulla was always in control.
Ryan got a great ball over on the far side to Helen.
A David Peachy-inspired Cronulla didn't give the Bulldogs a sniff last night. The Cronulla fullback had a busy game, but how often do you see a prop take an intercept and then gallop almost 40 metres to score, all on a dodgy knee? Jason Stevens did just that.
And isn't he happy?
In a tight first 40, Richardson proved a real handful, and while he couldn't get the ball down this time, a few minutes later it looked easy.
But a great try to keep the fans in the stands.
Did well. Howland looking on the inside. Can he beat him on the outside? He did. Oh, that's a good try, scored by Brett Howland.
Some paper-thin West defence helped Cronulla kickstart a dazzling display. Matt Rogers starred with 7 goals and a feature role in Nick Zisti's try as the Sharks mauled the Magpies 38-8.
As the Sharks' Nathan Long celebrated his first try for the season, then Nick Graham lived up to his big raps.
They keep it going. Here's Graham. Graham, he'll get there.
In what may have been the last local derby between these clubs, Cronulla was an impressive winner. It finished 6 tries to 2 as the Sharks looked anything but neighbourly.
It was like a javelin throw, that.
But soon regathered composure. Some solid teamwork gave them the lead.
Healy's in space. Howland is with him. He'll score.
Matt Rogers stopping the Sharks from sliding further into the Botany Bay swamp.
Last night, Cronulla scooted to a 14-0 lead against the Gold Coast.